A music executive and alleged LA gang leader Eugene Henley Jr. has just been named in a 43-count federal criminal indictment. Prosecutors accuse Henley of racketeering, fraud, extortion, and embezzlement. Henley surrendered to authorities last week in connection with a federal complaint linking him to the 2021 killing of an aspiring rapper. Prosecutors say that Henley, also known as Big U, has ties to the notorious Rollin 60s street gang. His arraignment is scheduled for April 8th.
Just pray for me. Those were the final words of Eugene Big U Henley before turning himself in. Once seen as a street legend turned savior of South Central, Big U wore many faces. To some, he was a reformed OG, a man using his influence to stop violence and uplift youth. To others, he was something else entirely. Now, the government says he's the head of a violent criminal empire, wire fraud, extortion, embezzlement, and murder. But what really happened? How did a man with deep community ties become the target of one of the most aggressive federal takedowns in recent LA history? This is the story of the man behind the myth and the secrets they say kept hidden in plain sight. Rayshawn Williams had a bright future, a star wide receiver, a name whispered with promise, coached by Big U himself, trusted enough to live under his roof. Even after a fallout over a stolen chain, they found their way back because family is supposed to be forever. After football slipped away, Rayshawn found a new dream, music. Young Judah, they called him. Golden Dreams, that was the title of his debut. A bold name, a hopeful name. And behind the scenes, Big U was there, funding trips, booking studios, believing in his potential. Or so it seemed. But dreams can sour. By 2021, whispers of tension grew louder, studio sessions wasted, songs turning into velvet threats, sneak disses, subtle jabs, lyrics hinting at betrayal, pride, and revenge. On Instagram, Rayshawn posted a cryptic track. This would be the only track and post that Big U would like, a silent message. I'm watching you. Then, like clockwork, Big U and an associate made the trip, Los Angeles to Las Vegas. No warning, no smiles, just questions, accusations. And somewhere between midnight and the desert highway, things turned deadly. Rayshawn disappeared into the night and into the desert. A body found near the Apex landfill, bullet wounds to the head, blood trails dragged into the barren wasteland. A silent grave under the vast Nevada sky. Big U returned to Los Angeles, sweaty, smiling, and silent. He hit the gym. He hit the red carpets. He hit the spotlight. Not a word, not a tribute, not even a whisper for the boy he once called family. Instead, the cameras rolled. Hip-hop uncovered aired for millions. The godfather of rap, they called him. The kingmaker, the puppet master. But behind the flashing lights, a darker truth simmered.
Big U is in federal custody right now. Prosecutors say they have probable cause to believe that he killed a man in Las Vegas in 2021, then dragged his body into the desert. Today, I learned the man killed is closely connected to Big U's family.
When did you ever really learn how to play the drum?
Eugene Henley Jr.'s podcast, seen here on YouTube, is one of many ways he made his name.
It's season 2 of Checking In.
Henley Jr., known as Big U, interviewed celebrities.
The big homie. Yes, sir.
And he's run a charity and music label. But the feds say he's also a longtime leader of the Rollin 60s Crip street gang. And now he's in custody for racketeering crimes that include the murder of rapper Rayshawn Williams. Court papers say Williams, seen here on Instagram, was an artist for Big U's label Unique Music. And in 2021, prosecutors say Williams wrote a song, quote, dissing Big U. Documents say Big U then kidnapped and murdered Williams in Las Vegas in retaliation for perceived disrespect. But before Williams was a rapper, he was a wide receiver for Crenshaw High School. The day after he was killed, the football program announced his death in this post on Instagram, saying in part, quote, he was a special guy to all of us. And not only did he play for Crenshaw, the wide receiver was teammates with Big U's son, Dayon Henley. This LA Times video shows Henley throwing a pass to Williams. Dayon Henley is now a linebacker for the LA Chargers. In 2023, The Times wrote a story about him with the headline, "Conceived in Prison, Dayon Henley was born into the dangerous world of his dad, who put him on a path to the NFL." Dayon's quoted in the article saying, "It's one heck of an origin story," adding, "You know how they talk about anti-heroes? The people who are the bad guys, but they really aren't? That's my dad." But now his dad, Big U, is back in custody, and the feds say he's connected to a number of crimes, including the murder of his son's high school teammate, Rayshawn Williams.
Cryptic Instagram post, tense interviews, talk of lies, betrayals, and death. The cracks were forming, hairline fractures, and an empire built on silence. Rayshawn's mother, she never stopped asking questions. She knew her son, she knew his habits, and when the weekly calls stopped, she knew something was wrong. She reached out to Big U. He denied everything. He even replied to an old DM, pretending Rayshawn was still alive.
News that broke out that said that Big U was, might have been involved in your son's murder. I mean, do you believe he's responsible?
I know for a fact he's responsible. There's no doubt in my mind. Mother's instance, I know he's responsible.
Why do you think that he did it? I mean, that's like the big question.
Because you don't like the word no.
Okay.
You don't want nobody to tell you no. Everything's supposed to go your way or no way. So I feel like my baby did something that you didn't like, and you did what you did. Now karma's at your door.
Do you think
because if he could do this to my child, what makes you think he couldn't do it to nobody else's child? Or if he haven't done it to nobody else's child? Or if he don't have anybody child right now feeling threatened because of what he have said to them or what he have done to them?
Is there a message that you would want to send to Big U?
Why? Any other time you would have called me. Still right now, today, I still haven't heard from you. Nothing.
But the time is a cruel detective, and Las Vegas police were quietly connecting the dots. It would take years of podcasts, whispers, backroom rumors, until finally the feds moved in. For years, Big U walked a delicate line, celebrity mentor, nonprofit leader, and former gang figure with undeniable influence. Through his nonprofit developing options, he worked with schools, athletes, even billionaires. Donations rolled in from names like Shaquille O'Neal and Draymond Green, but prosecutors say those donations didn't go where they were supposed to. They went straight into his personal accounts, and behind the scenes, they claim he was extorting rappers and athletes, controlling the streets with an invisible hand, enforced by fear. A man with two lives, but which was the real one? You've probably heard the term check-in, a street ritual, an unspoken rule. You don't go to certain neighborhoods without tapping in with the local power brokers. And in Los Angeles, that gatekeeper was allegedly Big U. He even named his podcast after it, Checking In. But now, those same recordings are being used against him. Words once said in confidence, now evidence in a federal case. The feds say it wasn't about safety, it was about money, fear, and consequences. And when people didn't play by the rules, they were robbed, beaten, or worse. In 2021, a promising young rapper named Rayshawn Williams was found dead, only 23 years old, a former Crenshaw High School football standout, and someone signed directly to Big U's label. Days before his death, Ray released a diss track aimed at his own mentor, and days later, he was gone. Now, prosecutors claim Big U orchestrated the hit, a shocking betrayal, if it's true. But where's the proof? The feds say they have wiretaps, informants, and cell phone data. Big U says it's all a lie, an attempt to destroy his name using internet gossip and snakes from his past.
A music executive and community activist is accused of running a criminal empire in Los Angeles. Eugene Henley Jr. facing RICO charges, allegedly tying him to the notorious Rollin' 60s street gang. Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay has more on his appearance today in federal court.
A big group of supporters showing up at federal court to support Eugene Henley Jr., also known as Big U. He's facing RICO charges, and the Department of Justice also accusing him of murdering an aspiring rapper in 2021.
The federal government usually does not bring these types of charges unless they've done extensive investigation. It looks like he has been under investigation for several years.
Federal authorities allege the music executive used his connections with a South LA street gang to run a, quote, mafia-like organization. Investigators say Henley is one of 18 members of the Rollin' 60s Crips charged in the federal complaint. He helped launch Nipsey Hussle's rap career. He's the father of an LA Chargers linebacker, and he's been admired as an anti-gang activist who also ran a nonprofit. But prosecutors say he used it as a front. Now accused of embezzling those donations to fund his life, including donations from celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal and Draymond Green. Before surrendering to authorities yesterday, he posted to social media calling it a misunderstanding.
I'm disheartened by the fact that they're trying to say that I stole something from developing option, or I used developing option as a front.
A statement from Los Angeles Press Secretary DeMarcus Fennell said in part, the city has zero tolerance for malfeasance and over the past 2 years increased oversight on gang reduction and youth development programs. This alleged act does not reflect the work of the GRYD program overall, which has helped lead to a dramatic decrease in gang-related violence citywide 2 years in a row. A detention hearing has now been set for Henley on March 31st.
Here's what you need to understand about federal cases. They don't move until they're sure. They build slow, quiet, and patient. And when they finally make a move, they drop everything at once. That's what happened here. Big U isn't just facing one charge. He's facing a stack of them. Wire fraud, kidnapping, fraudulent COVID relief loans, and yes, murder. It's the kind of case designed to break a man down, not just convict him, but crush him. Still, Big U didn't run. He turned himself in and pleaded not guilty. But with everything in total, he's literally facing a total of 600 years if he's convicted of every single thing he's being charged with. Is this a case of a reformed OG returning to the shadows? Or is it a witch hunt fueled by fame, power, and envy? Big U says he's being framed, that the government is twisting his words, weaponizing his past, that he's not a villain, they just need one. But some things are harder to explain. Private messages, bank records, conversations caught on tape. And what about Quando Rondo? The feds say his crew was targeted in a warning shot punishment for quote-unquote not checking in. Are these just rumors or signs of a silent underworld being exposed?
This afternoon, the alleged leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang made his first appearance in federal court. In fact, we just got this sketch in from the courtroom. The judge ordered Eugene Henley Jr. to remain in federal custody at least until his detention hearing, which is now scheduled for March 31st. Henley turned himself in to federal agents yesterday. Investigators also looking into his charity and how he used donations and grant money. NBC4's Alex Rozier joins us live with reaction you will see for the first time only on 4. Alex.
Colleen, Eugene Henley Jr.'s charity received millions of dollars in grant money from the city's GRID program. That's the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program. But the feds say his charity was a front for his criminal enterprise. And today we're hearing reaction from other grant recipients who reacted to this news.
Eugene Henley Jr., known as Big U, is well known in the community.
This season 2 of Checking In.
On his podcast seen here on YouTube, he's been joined by celebrities like Nick Cannon.
I grew up in a church.
And Snoop Dogg.
The big homie.
Yes, sir.
But Big U's also known for his nonprofit, Developing Options, that works to reduce gang violence.
They do tremendous work with youth, particularly around sports and gang intervention.
Dr. Robert Cicero runs Community Build, another organization that works on gang reduction, and he knows Big U.
Your experience with Big U has been positive.
Oh, absolutely positive.
And that's why he was stunned to learn of his arrest. The feds say Big U ran a criminal enterprise that committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and the 2021 murder of an aspiring rapper.
I was shocked to hear, but we're always shocked when we hear the initial news. And that's why I always tell people, hey, let's not rush to judgment.
The feds also said Henley Jr.'s charity was a front for his criminal enterprise.
Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes.
Court papers said Developing Options has received millions in grant money from the City of LA's Gang Reduction and Youth Prevention Program, known as GRID. Dr. Ciceto's nonprofit is also a GRID grant recipient, and even after the arrest, he's a big believer in the program.
The GRID intervention and prevention employees across the spectrum of GRID agencies are really the silent heroes you don't know anything about or hear about. Several years ago, when murders in Los Angeles were at a high of 1,200 per year, that number's come down to, I think, just over a couple of hundred per year. And that's a direct result of us doing the type of work we do.
Not only does Dr. Ciceto believe in the program, he still speaks highly of Big U's charity.
I am aware of the great work that they've done in their section of town.
But Developing Options leader is now in custody, facing the possibility of decades behind bars.
We just need to let the process take its place and see where it lands.
And as we mentioned, Henley appeared in federal court this afternoon and will remain in federal custody until at least his detention hearing scheduled for the end of the month.
Music executive and alleged LA gang leader Eugene Henley Jr. is heading to trial. Last month, he was named in a 43-county federal indictment, and this afternoon, he pleaded not guilty during his arraignment. Prosecutors accuse Henley of running a criminal enterprise involving murder, human trafficking, robbery, and extortion. They also say Henley, known as Big U, has ties to the notorious Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips street gang. His trial is scheduled for May 20th.
The trial could begin next month. If convicted, Big U could face life in prison, maybe more. But for now, the world waits for the evidence, for the witnesses, for the truth. Was he a mentor caught in a web of lies, or a kingpin cloaked in community goodwill? Whatever the truth is, it's hiding somewhere in the shadows, and soon it'll come to light. Until then, just pray for him. Alright, y'all, man, there y'all have it. Big U facing 600 years. Hey, man, get in that comment section. Let me know what you think. Drillers and trappers, we out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!